What Big Teeth You Have is brought to you by Damaged, the interactive web series, an entirely new way to experience story. Damaged is a psychological thriller about a young student who tries to unravel the mystery of a local gang and their connection to a serial killer. Viewers are invited to watch the series and gather clues, which unlocks an interactive web experience where users become part of the mystery. Watch the series, gather clues, solve the mystery. To learn more, visit damagetheseries.com.
How often do you think about death? I know that sounds grim, but bear with me a moment. Once a week? Once a day? More than that? We're surrounded by it, soaked in it. The news is a long string of reasons to never leave your house. Then there's all the advertisements, designed to remind us you are dying. And the best way to forget is to cover it up, outrun it, escape it. We spend our entire lives trying to forget how they end. We spend so much time forgetting, it sneaks up on us. I'm Robin Reed, and this is What Big Teeth You Have. After a loss, what's important to us isn't what, but why. What gives us our building blocks? Sure. The small bits of evidence that tell us the driver was drunk, the fire was an accident, the killer was tall. We build a case to tell us who, what, where, and when. Really to tell us how, so we can try to divine why. We seek closure, even if it might not help us at all. And the search for answers might end itself in more questions. 6 months ago, I found a box of tapes. Well, found isn't the right word, I guess. Uncovered, perhaps. I collect stories in my spare time, mostly diaries bought up at yard sales decades after a person's death. Notebooks, sometimes meticulously kept, sometimes impossible to read. It's a weird hobby, but it's mine. My friends know this about me and keep their eyes out. One friend in particular saw 2 boxes of tapes pulled from someone's basement at a yard sale and didn't blink before buying them up for me. It turns out those tapes were something interesting. Research notes and interviews by a journalist named Samuel Carling for his book about a Canadian serial killer called The Wolf. A book that was never published despite these interviews Sam did 13 years ago. And when I started listening to these tapes, I couldn't stop. Ever since, I've spent the past 6 months digging into the past to discover the story of these tapes. The journalist, the subject matter. How these tapes, after being carefully recorded and kept for all these years, led to, well, nothing. I wanted to know about the wolf, but even more, I wanted to know about Sam. Why was he drawn to this case above all others? Why did his research take the paths it did? And why did he stop? I spent months tracking all of his contacts, the people he interviews, and even the people in his life to understand why.
Sam, I know he was searching for something.
That's Letitia Benson, or Letty as she's known to most people. She's Sam's younger sister. We spoke about 3 months after I found the tapes about Sam and his search for the wolf.
What he really wanted, I think, was to track this guy down. Most of the time, these books are just, for the public, to know something. But he wanted to find him. I don't know why. I don't know.
See, that's the thing. The wolf, Sam's subject, was never caught. Never brought to justice. This guy killed 6 women over 2 years in the 90s, and the police never found him. We don't know if he moved or changed MO or just stopped. As far as we know, he vanished. Here's more of me and Letty. Why do you think he was drawn to this case?
I don't know. Maybe the mystery, he liked puzzles, and he hated violence. I think it's just a book at the start. by the end, it wasn't just a book. It was something else.
And here's Sam in his own words, a couple weeks before he stopped working on the book in spring 2004.
Personal research notes, May 16th, 2004. I'm down such a rabbit hole. I've talked to everyone, the victims' families, the cops, witnesses. I've done the rounds, and I'll confess, it's hard not to get a little hopeless.
He takes a long pause here, but doesn't stop the recording. You can hear him breathing, searching for his words, trying to figure out how he feels about it all.
I gotta remember, it's just a book.
Over these 7 episodes of What Big Teeth You Have, I'll be sharing a lot with you. Sam's interviews with people involved in the case, and some of my own conversations with the people in Sam's life. Because here's the thing. Here's why I never talked to Sam, and why I can't get this story out of my head, even now, after all the research I've done. Sam didn't just stop writing a couple weeks after the clip you just heard. Sam's body was found in his apartment. Suicide. Leaving this, his 3rd book, his magnum opus, unfinished. I can't imagine what must have been going through his head, and in a sense, I don't have to. There are tapes in this box that go right up until the morning of his death. So I have to wonder, looking at the what, where, when, who, and how of it all, why did Sam die? Was he in agony over an epic project that he was starting to think he could never finish? Did he have personal problems unrelated to the book that broke him down and ended his life? Or did his research take him too deep into the shadows to ever make his way out? That's the question that drove me to listen to these tapes over and over, to interview the people in Sam's life and re-interview some figures he spoke to 15 years ago. Maybe I'm following in Sam's footsteps, chasing a white rabbit I can never catch. Or maybe, just maybe, there are answers out there to the questions of Sam's death and possibly the identity of the monster he sought.